Can't bang it on the glass. So this meeting is now called to order. Can we get a roll call, please?
Controller Reynolds.
Here.
Council President Duarte.
Present.
Mayor Wallace.
Here.
Okay, members, you have an agenda before you with 34 items. First section is resolutions approving ordinances. Item number 1, amending ordinance number 6 adopted March 28, 2018, entitled an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Community Development Block Grant and Mount Vernon Urban Renewal Agency.
So moved. Sorry.
Someone?
Second. Roll call.
Roll call on number 1, Controller Reynolds.
On the question. On the question, this ordinance, I'll read it again. Amending ordinance number 6 adopted March 28, 2018, entitled an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Community Development Block Grant and the Mount Vernon Urban Renewal Agencies. Both of these agencies are not under the purview of the city. They are independent agencies oversaw by the mayor only. So this is not supposed to be on the Board of Estimate and Contract today. This agenda item should be on the URA Board's agenda. So it's in the wrong place. I just wanted to put that on the record.
Any legal opinion on that?
With regard to that, the city is receiving the funding, but maybe we should hold that until I look into it.
That works for you, Madam Controller?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
So let's hold that one on the floor.
All the urban renewal issues, maybe we can hold until I give the advisory opinion. That's possible?
Okay.
Okay, item number 1 is being held. Item number 2, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Westchester Community College, Mount Vernon Extension.
Second. On the question?
On the question, once again, there's a lot of items on this agenda that don't have adequate funding moved over into these lines to pay for these programs. And that has to be done previous to this meeting because there has to be a funding source in order to agree that we can pay for these things. We don't have a funding source for this, so I'm going to put that on the record as well. I guess we can come back and revisit it once the funding source is in the appropriate line in the budget, because that's what we pay out of. But until then, I have to wait till the mayor transfers funds.
The funding
So
is,
question, so what is the balance then of the budget code that's in the legislation? You're saying that there isn't.
Well, that was what you were supposed to find out before you voted, Council President Duarte. Before you voted at the City Council, you had a responsibility to come to find out what was in that line that you actually agreed on. But you didn't do it. So now we're sitting here with a discrepancy. There has to be a funding source and an account code that you have here that you voted for in order to remit payment for these programs, and it's not there. So now the mayor has to do the due diligence in transferring funds into that line to cover those programs.
Mayor Wallace, so do you have that information? Do you know what the balance of that account is?
I do not, but
So do you
we
know
could,
how much you
we
need
could,
to transfer?
we'll find out. The documents, we should have the documentation, but
I'm not
before
sure
you
this
could,
is
The amount is $13,200
Would you like to call down?
for the budget account code. Well, we've
Yes.
been down that road already.
yes, let's call them now.
You can call them down, but do they know what's in the account codes? No, they come and ask me themselves. Because the grant
What's
money
in the-
comes into
what's
the
in the
comptroller's
account-
office, not the youth
account
bureau.
code?
So the mayor still has to do his due
But
diligence.
they never title it, so who knows what, I don't know what account code, they don't title it. They put the code, but it's not a title, I don't know.
Okay. So we're gonna wait for, let's move on while somebody comes down.
Do you have information on this grant? Is this a reimbursement reimbursable grant, or is this?
I don't know. This is,
That's something
from
you should
the, I understand it's from the state. There seems that there is $1.12
Right.
million that,
Right.
there's an agreement there, but I don't have the agreement.
We have not received that funding.
So the funding is not there, you haven't.
We don't have
Well,
the funding.
I'm-
And usually,
I don't know.
usually
Well-
reimbursable grants, let me just say this for the record, you usually have the money allocated there so you can spend out and pay vendors, and then there's a reimbursement. But money has to be in an account code in order for the comptroller's office to remit payment to any vendor.
So,
Legislation.
so basically, we still would need legislation accepting it before we can.
No, not
move
before.
forward.
It's after. You're putting the horse before the carriage. I mean, excuse me, the carriage before the horse. Because basically, how are you going to agree to something with no money? You can't go buy ice cream without money in your pocketbook. So it has to be money there. You're supposed to check. And then we're supposed to agree. Yes, the funding is there. This is what we do. We check to see if funding is there. The funding is there, and then we say, yes, we can have the program. Not without the funding. I have to pull money from somewhere.
Clerk
According
Carter?
to the legislation, it says that this is a part of the 21st Century Community Learning Centers program. And in June of 2017, the council authorized legislation to accept 1.12 million.
They did,
And this amount will be paid
but we did
from-
not get that funding. Yes, even though it's in 17, it never happened. So someone was supposed to come back from the Youth Bureau to check, but it never happened. So now we have this ordinance in front of us. There has to be a funding source in order to remit payment for the program.
Well, this
Let's-
legislation is to enter into an agreement with
To
WCC
to
for a
accept the money.
particular program.
Correct.
And this
Okay.
program's cost is $13,200.
So where are you gonna pay it from?
It's not the full amount of the 1.12 million. That is a grant that is for a 5-year period.
But you're saying
So where are you
that
gonna
we
draw the
never
money
got the
from?
grant, and that where are we gonna get the 13.2? That's the question.
That's, okay, that's the question that needs to be answered, and Comptroller Reynolds, has this been communicated to the Youth Bureau so that they understand that their budget code does not have enough funding?
I went to the council meeting, Council President Duarte, when you were there a couple months ago, and the Youth Bureau was there. I explained at that particular time, there has to be a funding source in the budget to remit payment. This is how we pay the bills. If there's no funding in an account code, it has to be placed there by the mayor. He has to transfer funds from wherever he has adequate funding into that account code so that we can pay for those programs. That's how it works.
Yes, we have a question with,
Dina Williams, Deputy Director of
You know, they have the money. That's all I'm saying. It specifically says her approval by the Board of Estimate contract, so
right, so
if she doesn't have money, then I don't.
then we'll find the money and move the money there.
The
Wait.
mayor will move the money when he gets the opportunity.
Okay, so we'll move the money.
So once he moves the money in the lines, this can come back.
What was, okay, you had a question from the Youth Bureau?
Oh, no, I didn't. I guess, who pulled the Youth Bureau here? I don't have any questions. I already know what's there, so I don't know.
Okay, so that's,
I guess the question was whether you received the $1.1 million.
yes, for the grant.
We have received some of this, we have not received it all because of the audit's not been done.
Okay.
Is this grant, like a drawdown or reimbursable? How does this grant?
It's reimbursable.
So we expend the funds first?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right.
What is
So-
your pleasure on item number 2?
You ready for that? You ready? Roll call.
Okay, roll call on item number 2, Controller Reynolds.
Once the money is moved, as I stated previously, by the mayor into the account code, there is no vote. Because what are you voting for with no money? The money may never go into that line. I don't know what's
We'll
going
move
to
to it.
happen. That's why I said this item should be held until money is transferred into the account code so that I can remit payment to the vendors or whatever vendors that are going to be servicing the programs.
Roll call.
Vote.
Controller Reynolds?
Abstain until we receive the funding from the mayor to
We'll get
transfer the
funding.
money into the account code so that we can have these programs, as I stated previously.
Council President Duarte?
Aye.
Mayor Wallace?
Aye.
So we all know that the program is not going to start, and I want to put that on the record, until the funding is transferred. So I'm asking the Youth Bureau to not start these programs without us having that funding, because we cannot draw down to pay the vendor. And that's unethical behavior, so we can't have that.
Number three.
Item number 3, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Interactive Health LLC for the Strong Program.
So moved.
Second. On the question?
On the question, that's the same issue as item number 2. The mayor has to transfer funds. This is in the amount of not to exceed $50,000. Money needs to be moved into that account code so that we can remit payment to whatever vendor is going to be servicing the program.
Okay. Roll call.
Controller Reynolds?
Once again, I have to abstain until the money is in the account code that's sufficient to pay the vendor.
Council President Duarte?
Aye.
Mayor Wallace?
Aye.
Item number 4, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Monty Public Charter School.
So moved.
Second. On the question?
On the question,
That the
number
same as
4
the others?
is just the same. The
Okay.
mayor has to move money, so we have an account code, so we have a funding source in order to remit payment to the vendor.
Roll call.
Controller Reynolds?
Okay, sorry, continue.
As I stated before, once the mayor has transferred the money into the account code to pay the vendor, it would be sufficient, but right now I have to abstain.
I would just, on behalf of the council, we may request an expense report for that budget code, Madam Comptroller.
I'm sorry.
I said on behalf of the council, we may request an expense report for that budget code.
Okay, for the record, Mayor Thomas has, and his Management Services Department has taken over fraudulently my Munis system. I have a court order that stated that they had to get in contact with the vendor, Tyler, to give me back the administrative role in Munis. That has not taken place. We have not been able to populate our budget, 2019 budget, to date into Munis. So no, you cannot have an expense report because nothing was populated.
Okay.
So
we'll-
as soon as we're able to resolve all the issues that was created by Mayor Thomas, no. We won't be able to do anything until that is resolved.
So later on today, if you have some time, we'll talk about Munis.
Yes.
Get your Munis back to you. So
Well,
we can
that's
get
not
them.
going to happen until
That's fair.
Management Services is on board.
Yeah,
We
well,
basically
I'm gonna-
just got him to give my staff member her email.
We're gonna
So-
speak about it, we'll get it on board so we can get the Munis back, then you can get a report. So.
Well,
if you-
Everything has
should have-
failed
so-
If
to
Munis
date
is not
because of
being
this.
used, what is being used, and can a report from whatever you're using be generated?
You're not listening, Council President Duarte. Nothing. I have no administrative roles right now. My
Okay.
Munis was breached. You're not listening to what I'm saying.
Okay, roll call.
Council President Duarte?
It's on number 4?
Yes. Item number
Aye.
4. Mayor Wallace?
Aye.
Number 5, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Mount Vernon Urban Renewal Agency to accept a reimbursable grant, $80,000.
All of these items were to be held for a corporation council.
This item is a reimbursement, we're accepting the money back.
And the city of Mount Vernon does not conduct reimbursable grants with urban renewal. That's supposed to come to the Urban Renewal Board, a board that yourself, the council president, and myself are supposed to sit. That meeting is after this meeting. It's on the wrong board.
Is this to accept the grant?
It's on the wrong board.
We'll take a look at it.
So you wanna hold that for a second?
Yes.
Okay, item number 5 is being held. Item number 6, amending ordinance
It's the
number.
same issue. It still deals with urban renewal and CDBG. These are agencies the mayor oversees through the Urban Renewal Board. All of these items have to go on the Urban Renewal Board. This is where this legislation takes place.
Is it the pleasure of this body to hold item number 6?
It's for legislation, it's amending legislation that was adopted in 2018 to receive a reimbursable grant. The only change to the legislation is amending or adding a budget code. I'm assuming for purposes of fulfilling the reimbursables. So I think that I'm ready to vote on it.
Let's just move that, then we can just work that out after in our next meeting too, if there's something to work out. Roll call.
Item number 6, amending ordinance number 5 adopted March 28, 2018, entitled an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Community Development Block Grant and Mount Vernon Urban Renewal Agency.
So moved.
Second. Roll call.
On the question,
Oh, on the
once
question.
again, this ordinance is defective. It does not belong on the city. This has not budgeted anything with the Urban Renewal Agency. It's not in the city's purview. This item is supposed to be on the Urban Renewal Board's agenda, not the Board of Estimate and Contract agenda. This is not city business. So I just wanted to put that on the record.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Controller Reynolds?
No.
Council President Duarte?
Aye.
Mayor Wallace?
Aye.
Oh, and I want to say for the record, we still have not received the URA audit for the years 2016, 17, and 18. I hear that it's being worked on, but basically the city has lost its credit rating due to the audits not being performed. So I just wanted to put that on the record today.
Well, we're working on that. Also, I believe the books for the 2016 is closed. Next week, 2017, 2018
I
should
have
be
not seen any
closed.
documentation to that fact.
But you'll
I
get-
have
you'll
not
get it.
received any documentation to that fact. When I
Alright.
receive it, we will review it.
All right, we'll get it. Roll call.
Item number 7, authorizing and directing the controller to reestablish the planning board consultant bank account.
So moved.
Second. On a question?
On the question, this is a fraudulent act. All monies come to the comptroller's office. They're deposited in the city's bank accounts. All payments that are remitted through the city comptroller's office. So for the city to allow a planning board to have a bank account in the city's name is fraudulent behavior. So no, I'm not voting for this item, and it should not be on this board today. Should not be on this agenda.
The back there.
The backup in legislation states that, references Article 3, Section 27 of the New York State General City Law. Corporation Council, I don't know if you had a chance to review this.
No. No.
So do you want to take a look at it?
I want to hold this, and take a look at that.
Okay. So we're holding number 7.
Item number 7 is held. Item number 8, authorizing the mayor to execute an application for correction to the year 2017 county tax bill and directing the controller to issue a refund in the amount of $296.85.
So moved.
Second.
On a question? Roll call.
Controller Reynolds?
Aye.
Council President Duarte?
Aye.
Mayor Wallace?
Aye.
Item number 9, authorizing the mayor to execute an application for correction to the years 2017, 2018, and 2019 city tax bill and directing the controller to issue a refund. The amount is $119.56.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Controller Reynolds?
Aye.
Council President Duarte?
Aye.
Mayor Wallace?
Aye.
Number 10, authorizing Development Block Grant and Mount Vernon Urban Renewal Agency.
Second? So moved.
Second. On the question?
On the question, this is another situation where we don't have enough funding in this account to pay for the program. So the mayor, once again, will have to move money into the line account so that we can have these programs serviced.
Okay. Roll call.
Controller Reynolds.
I'm abstaining again. Once again, there's no money in the account code to remit payment to the vendor. So until that happens, the mayor has to make sure enough funding is in this line to cover this program, as I stated previously.
Council President Duarte.
Aye.
Mayor Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 11, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the Community Development Block Grant and the Mount Vernon Urban Renewal Agency.
So moved.
Second. On the question? Hannah, roll call.
We're back at the same thing again with the Urban Renewal Agency Board. This should not be on the Board of Estimating contract.
Roll call number 11, Controller Reynolds.
Abstaining per my previous remarks regarding this item being on the Urban Renewal Board,
Council President Duarte.
such as item number 9 and
Aye.
10. I mean, 10 and 11, excuse me.
Mayor Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 12, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Westchester Putnam Workforce Development Board, Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, Youth Employment Services Program, the amount of $142,500.
So moved.
On the question? Second. On the question?
On the question, I mixed item number 12 with number 9, but anyway, item number 12 is where we don't have enough funding. That's the $142,500 that the mayor will have to put into that account code so that we can be able to remit payment for the program.
All right, we'll find that one. We'll move it.
So
Roll call.
So their money is not in the revenue code?
I think Madam President had a question for you, Madam Controller.
Excuse
I
me.
think
Excuse me?
Council President. had a
So
question.
the revenue code does not have funding?
That's what I stated. That's what I stated.
We did roll call? Oh, roll call.
Council President Duarte. I'm sorry, roll call on item number 12, Controller Reynolds.
I abstain again from my comment.
Council President Duarte.
Aye.
Mayor Wallace.
Aye. Number 13.
Item number 13, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Westchester Putnam Workforce Development Board, Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, Youth Employment Services Program, $168,000.
So moved.
Second. On the question?
On the question, this is the same.
Same as 12, right?
Same as 12.
Okay. Roll call.
Controller Reynolds.
Abstain, same comment as previous.
Council President Duarte.
Aye.
Mayor Wallace.
Aye.
Number 14, authorizing the mayor to accept funding from the Office of General Services, Veterans, $10,000.
So moved.
On the question? Oh, wait, somebody gotta be second. You wanna be second?
So
She
moved.
moved it.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Controller Reynolds.
Aye.
Council President Duarte.
Aye.
Mayor Wallace.
Aye.
Number 15, authorizing the transfer of funds within the fire department, $100,000.
So moved.
Second. On the question?
On the question, this would have to be looked into because we're moving money from a salary line. I don't know if there's any open positions where you're taking this money from. That's something you need to look into.
Yeah, no, I looked into it already.
So
It's
we're
just
not cutting
moving-
anyone short.
No, we're not.
It was, I believe the commissioner stated that these are salaries for, open positions, they have not been filled.
Right.
That's what it
It's
should
on-
state in the
it's on-
legislation. You have to say if there's, is from vacant positions, because it doesn't say anything here. Okay, that's fine.
Roll call?
Controller Reynolds?
Yes, contingent on it not infringing upon someone's salary in the fire department.
Council President Duarte?
Aye.
Mayor Wallace?
Aye.
Item number 16, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the State of New York Department of Agriculture and Markets for the Petroleum Product Quality Testing Program.
So moved.
Second.
Same situation.
Okay, second.
We have to make sure there's funding in place. I don't see enough funding in place to cover this, so the mayor will have to do his due diligence once again to move money into the account code to cover these.
There's
Roll call?
Roll call on item number 16, Controller Reynolds?
As I stated previously, the mayor needs to do his due diligence to put enough funding in the account code to remit, so we can remit payment to the vendor. So I'm abstaining until that happens.
Council President Duarte?
Aye.
Mayor Wallace?
Aye.
Number 17, authorizing the transfer of funds within the planning board, $200.
So moved.
That's fine.
Second.
Yes, second.
On the question? Roll call?
Controller Reynolds?
Yes.
Council President Duarte?
Yes.
Mayor Wallace?
Yes.
Number 18, an ordinance adopted by the City Council on April 12, 2019, vetoed by the mayor on April 22, 2019, and again by the City Council on April 24, 2019, to override the mayor's veto, authorizing the transfer of funds within the 2019 adopted budget for the appropriation of a local grant match for the stormwater and sanitary sewer EPA compliance project.
So moved.
Council President, can I see that real quick? That's for the stormwater, right?
Yeah.
The one with the, let me just see. Double check what we got. It's on my desk. I know we passed it
Yeah,
before.
I know it's.
Yep. Yep, we got it. Thanks. Roll call. Other with,
Was it moved?
you said on the question?
It was,
Who moved
I
it?
don't think it was second.
Oh, second. On the question?
So this piece of legislation is defective. Basically, like I said before, and I'm going to say this on the record today, in order to get items moved and the city processes to move forward so we can get things done, the city council, before they legislate on any ordinance, they should come downstairs to the comptroller's office and ask the staff members or myself, what is currently in the account codes?
We
This
know,
make, This
Okay.
makes it defective, because I have gone through this. I told you before when we came on Tuesday, because I didn't have everything. Now I have the account codes. I looked into them. There are several account codes here that don't have money. You want $35,000 from the law department, there's only $9,000 in that line. You want $50,000 from the engineering office, there's only $9,000 there. You want $200,000 from the sanitary storm sewers contracted outside, there's only $12,000 there. I can go on forever. So what
This-
has to happen once again is that money has to be removed into these account codes to have sufficient lines in order to remit payment to these vendors. It's not there.
So this legislation was vetoed back in April.
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
It's
so-
the money
This
is
was-
what I'm,
Has it-
the money is what I'm concerned with. That's what I work with as a CFO, to make sure there's enough money in account codes to remit payment to vendors, taxpayer dollars. So if the money is not there, I cannot remit payment. So all I'm saying, once again, is that if these things are going to be approved, you have to come to the table, you have to make sure you go into the budget and you move money, enough money to allocate in these account codes so that the comptroller's office can remit payment. Otherwise, there's a scale here.
So this has been on the agenda for the Board of Estimates since April 30th, and this is the first time we're hearing of this.
No, it's the
Right.
first time you're hearing of it. You weren't here. You weren't the council president.
So let
So
me-
I'm gonna say again, and I should not have to continue to repeat myself on this. Money has to be in an account code.
Okay, so.
And
but
that should be
when-
Well,
checked,
that's
and that
understood.
should be checked. No, it's not understood,
No, it is
Council President,
understood.
because you don't do the due diligence. You are just voting on anything. You're not even thinking about it. If you thought about it, you would come downstairs and ask the finance department, is there money, because we're getting ready to vote on something. That does not
Okay.
take place. So it has never taken place since I've been
So
here, and I'm
let's-
sure it didn't take place previous.
So let's say this, because this was 4 months ago. So
fine.
obviously 4 months ago, when this was done, the money was there, because I know you did check to see if the money was there, because you had put this together for the Starbucks. Have the money been spent
Of course.
down from that by
Of course,
something
we
else?
spend money every day.
In that?
We just
particular-
don't have money sitting there. If
So
you're gonna
let's-
act
so-
then, you act then. If you're gonna act later, don't anticipate that funding is going to be there.
So was it used? Because if she has those numbers now, and I remember
Well,
that not
so-
being the numbers,
Right, so let's.
The money
She
was
didn't
there.
check.
If we can just if I can have a moment just to clarify, and Mayor Wallace, you are fully aware of this.
yep,
Back in April, because this legislation was first presented, we had a special on April 12, 2019. This was prepared in response to concerns expressed by the EPA and the DEC. Primarily the DEC, because the DEC has awarded the city a $1.6 million grant to help us with the sewer repairs.
We don't have that money.
We don't have the money because the DEC is withholding it. They have not released it to
So
the
then it's
city.
not awarded, because award means we have it in our hands. So basically, I go back to what I said.
So,
that-
Madam Comptroller,
I go back to what I said. If you did your due diligence before
Hold on.
coming to this board today
Hold
and
on,
found
let her
out
finish.
if
Let
there
her
was
finish.
money in a line, you would know that it's not there.
So, Madam Comptroller,
Madam President.
a letter,
You can't make this up.
Clerk Brown prepared a letter on behalf of the City Council with the supporting documentation regarding this grant.
1 second, please.
Sure. Okay, so back in, I don't have the exact date, but back in April when we were preparing this legislation,
actually in March.
so then it was
Yep,
March.
because
Yes,
they
you're right,
came-
because this took about a month to put together. So back in March, Clerk Brown prepared a letter on behalf of, or I believe I sent a letter, and Clerk Brown delivered it with the supporting documentation regarding this grant and the information stating the 25% local match that's required in order for us to receive the grant. That correspondence was delivered to your office and you rejected it.
Excuse me? Stop making accusations
not
at this
making that
table,
up.
Council
There
President.
is-
Who bought did you come to my office?
Clerk Brown.
Don't give me third-party information.
Clerk
I don't
Brown
want to hear
delivered
that
the
today,
letter on
Janice
behalf of the
Duarte.
council.
It doesn't matter, it's irrelevant what you're saying, that's moot. Basically, what I'm saying today is that you did not come to the comptroller's office to
Where's
find out
Commissioner
if there was
Edera?
adequate funding to
Yeah.
make sure that this was
Bring it back
covered.
in.
That's your fault.
Okay.
This legislation
That's
was
your
meant
fault.
to
It doesn't matter if it was in
identify a grant
April.
match.
Today, this is August. You're talking about months later. We spend money on a daily basis in this
Right,
city.
but what I wanna
We
find-
send, you know it.
Yes, but what I want to find out is because we've been moving forward.
Well,
with
then
the-
you should have
hold on.
come
Hold
downstairs.
on, we're moving forward. I wasn't, Look.
You put it on the agenda.
yes, what I'm just explaining to you, I got to find out from Commissioner Edera if we have already been pulling the fund from there because we've been doing the sewer work. So if that's the case,
You
then
have.
the,
I just
then
told
the-
you that.
yes, but then the grant
We have the
match.
documentation
Hold on,
downstairs.
Madam Controller, let me finish.
You know we have.
I know, but what I'm saying is, let's see what he has to say, because if he pulled it from there, that's why the money is low. Because the paperwork, this should have been done almost 5 months ago.
This is what, that's all
So-
I'm saying.
and it's- yeah,
I'm
and
not
it's been-
arguing.
and it's
All
been
I'm
had-
saying is you have to move money.
Yeah, we'll
In this
find
account.
out.
That's
But-
all I'm saying.
but
I don't want to hear any hearsay. All I'm saying is the same thing I've been saying in this
Okay.
entire meeting. It's not even
But-
an argument, it's a fact.
Yes,
So
but let
once
me
you
just
get-
say this.
Once you get
Right.
the opportunity,
Let's see what he pulled out and where he pulled it out, because
Well,
then the
it
grant
doesn't
match
matter.
will come back to us anyway, because that's a drawdown.
Before
The
we-
state will give it to us.
Before we, Corporation Counsel, if I may. This legislation was prepared and adopted by the council back in early April. And it was on this, on the agenda on the Board
March.
of Estimate.
Early
since-
March, because
Okay,
it was
but
2 weeks before that.
right, okay. But right now, the legislation that's in front of us was adopted at a special on April 12th. So we're just going with what's in front of us. We have a lot of examples of dated legislation like this. Given that we are where we are, it is 5 months later, I respect Comptroller's concern that perhaps those budget lines are not at the same level as they were perhaps 5 months ago.
Right.
What is your recommendation?
Here's the issue, my understanding in terms of your dates, it looks like there was a veto from the mayor, and then there was an override on April 24th. So that's how, we're really outstanding from that period of time, if this is the same legislation. So
Right.
Yes.
that's number one.
Yeah.
So when this was passed, what the controller is saying is that there's not enough money there. You can still vote for it and deal with those issues after.
So
Absolutely,
we can amend
because-
this legislation.
Well,
Well-
I mean, you'd have to sit down with the controller and find out what money is there. The gentleman is coming down.
Right.
To see if they spent it all, and if there's anything left,
Right.
to spend, but you can vote on it, and what the controller and the mayor and everyone's saying, the controller is saying it's contingent on, do we have money? And if there's no money, it can't be done.
Counselor?
But you can still vote on it.
It's gonna be a quick fix by Commissioner Edera, because if he pulled the money as he was doing the work, it wouldn't matter, because that's the drawdown. The state will
Right.
reimburse us
He was doing
anyway,
the
the
work on
one,
the sewers.
turn over to 1.6. Commissioner,
Yes,
we have a quick question. On the sewer work that has been working on
Yes.
to be in comply with the EPA,
Yes.
so that we can get the drawdown of the $1.6 million grant that they're giving us.
Correct.
Have you already pulled some of that money and been using it?
I have used money from the emergency sewer funds to do some work. Part of that could qualify for this grant. But
Perfect.
we won't get an answer until we've got a commitment from the state on the grant. How much of that money, I think 25% of it may
They're gonna release?
qualify towards the grant.
Okay. So then,
Okay.
so then we're fine with it.
So given where we are, we'll follow up with the commissioner
Right, because he
to
said he's.
adjust.
He's saying he spent it out of the sanitary and storm sewers. There was an allocation, alleged allocation for 200,000. I don't know if that was spent, I don't know if any
Yeah,
of that
well,
was.
you spent some money out of there?
I spent a lot of money on it.
Okay,
I
so
think I
that's,
completed
that's,
the fund.
that's the
Well,
reason.
we know
He-
that repairs were made at various locations,
Right.
but you say.
They don't all
So-
qualify.
Okay.
for the
Let me,
EPA.
let me just
Commissioner,
say
I can tell you, I
this.
have the documentation, let me just
Okay.
express this. The 88120405, that's the sanitary. It was 200,000 there. 187,000 was actually spent.
Okay,
So we
right.
have about
Yeah.
12,000 left.
Okay.
So like I said, the mayor has to find money in the budget if he needs to cover anything.
Well-
That has to happen.
Okay, so
So-
obviously what has happened
That's the
here.
issue.
What has happened here, the issue is the legislation that was done back in March, way back in March, started in February, that's been held all this time. We're starting to move the agenda forward on everything else, but the work has been done. And it is coming, some of it has been done, and it's coming out of this particular thing.
Storm sewer.
We have to still report back to the state so that the state can start to draw down on the $1.6 million.
But they will release.
So they release the $1.6 million. All right, so then when the
So that's what we're
$1.6
just
million
saying.
will come and
Okay,
we'll
so
move everything
that-
into the right place.
No. You can't spend money.
It's
We're not
already
gonna
been
just-
spent.
No, there's
It's-
more money, there's more money to spend from what you're stating here. Look at the total amount.
This-
There's over $410,000, let me finish,
Right.
$410,000. That money has to be there, especially if you continue to draw down. As I stated
Madam-
before, we
Madam
only
Controller.
have, let me finish. We only have, what did I say, 12,000 there. So if there's any money that's needed to be spent, other than the 12,000, you have to transfer money into the account code.
We
And
got
I
it.
have to stress this.
Okay.
Because otherwise, we will not be able to pay the vendors.
Okay.
And that's a major problem.
Well, we understand that. The money that's been spent out of that budget that was budgeted for it already has been used, so the commissioner
I'm sure
has,
there's more.
he's done the work for that.
It's not finished,
So,
I'm sure there's more.
well, whatever's left in there is what he can use.
This is what I'm saying,
Okay.
unless you're
We're-
willing to
No,
look money.
we're fine with that.
I'm just
We're fine
putting
with
that on the record.
All right, we're fine with that. Okay, roll call.
Roll call on item number 18. Controller Reynolds.
As I stated, I have to abstain, there's no funding to complete the $410,000 amount that they're saying is matching. So I have to abstain until the money is forwarded over into the account code.
Council President Duarte.
I am with the understanding that we will revisit the account budget issue.
Mayor Wallace.
It's a state grant and a state issue. We gotta fix this and fix it quickly. So with that being said, let's move on.
Item
Number
number
19.
19, an ordinance adopted by the City Council on February 15, 2019, vetoed by the mayor on February 19, 2019, and again adopted by the City Council on February 27, 2019, to override the mayor's veto, authorizing the City Council to retain the law firm of Zarin and Steinmetz for land use matters.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I have not received any information on this, as requested for many months now.
Second. On the question? Not on the question? Okay.
I just said
Roll-
on the question,
roll-
I have not received information as I requested for many months ago.
Okay. Roll call.
Controller Reynolds.
Abstain, I have not received any document to date in regards to the matter of what this is going to, what's going to take place.
Council President Duarte.
Aye.
Mayor Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 20, retaining the law firm of Wilson and Chan LLP as special counsel to the City Council for legal services related to the City Council's suit against, among others, the mayor of the City of Mount Vernon, seeking injunctive relief to preserve and protect the public assets of Mount Vernon, other legal services related to the City Council's mission to ensure the proper execution of its powers as prescribed by the city charter and by law, and further authorizing payment of council fees as it pertains to the site known as Memorial Field.
I'd like to respectfully request that we hold this at this time because it is over a year old, this legislation, and this is not the only legislation that we have like this. I'd like to, the Probation Council, review outstanding legislation, and I think it would probably be better to have a special board of estimate.
What do you mean outstanding legislation? This is just to adopt their legal fees?
This, yes, and
For
this was
those-
adopted in July of 2018.
Okay, so what do you need? What are you asking?
I'm asking to just hold it for right now so that we can have a discussion about situations like this. The clerk represented to me a few weeks back that dated legislation like this expires. And I'm not really sure how it should be handled.
I mean,
Well,
it's up to the body
The
to
work
hold
was
it.
done already, it's just been held forever.
It
So,
was never, I don't believe this was ever on the agenda.
oh yes, it was.
There were certain items, just like.
A lot
the
of these
EPA
have been held for months, so
just
we're
like
trying to
the
clean up
EPA
this
sewer
stuff.
grant match, the former mayor did
But
not
that's-
put the items
that's
on
not
the
here.
agenda.
That's not documented here.
Yeah, if I.
No,
can-
but-
if I can-
Deputy Clerk? Yes.
Just like the EPA sewer grant match, there were certain items that the city council passed that the former mayor did not allow to be placed on the BOE agenda. So that's why you see the lag in the time frame of things coming to the BOE, because he was not putting them on the agenda.
No, I understand.
I mean, we could adopt, you could adopt it subject to reviewing bills or invoices or
Yeah.
something. I mean, the city, the corporation council could like audit his bills, just adopt it and it, you know, and we audit the bills and give you a report or something.
So I'm just asking if we can
But they
hold
have
it
been
for
paid
now.
for this.
I'm, you know,
Most of this already.
I'm just stating that this is not the only example like this. And I think it would be better and more
So we're
transparent to the public if
way
we
behind.
had a board of estimate.
I think it's transparent because this is public. The only thing I'm
Right.
saying is just what the mayor's saying. We've had an unusual history with this government and that we just have to, you know, move on. We kind of know, and I'm trying to give you the best advice. We know they did the work. You know they did the work. They were there to do the work and represented you very, very well.
And it was paid already,
And
so
my
this is
position
behind.
is, I can get their bills, look at it, give you a report back, but in terms of,
You
just
okay?
having this legislation,
Listen, I have to abstain from this because basically I was sued in a fictitious TRO by the council with the same law firm. In a
They didn't sue you.
fictitious TRO saying I was in concert with Mayor Thomas, in which I was not. So I have to abstain from this, and I'm staying out of it.
Memorial, okay.
I know that this is not the only piece like this. This is all I'm stating. This is not, it's not specific to this one in particular. I'm just simply stating that I know that there are several pieces of legislation that were adopted by the council last year and either were held on the Board of Estimate agenda for many, many months or never were placed on the agenda. And so all I'm asking is if we can have a special to review all of those, because I know this is not the only one like this.
Okay, but we're at a special, so we'll have a special to a special. It's nothing I can
The
do.
purpose of the special would be to review all these aged.
But this has already been passed by the council.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right, so
well,
you're just-
Then why isn't there other legislation that we know was
Because-
adopted by the council not here?
Because it's not here yet. We have to look for it and get it. But this is already passed by the council like almost a year ago.
Right, and we have other legislation older than this one
I
that
don't-
never made it onto the Board of Estimate.
Then we have to find it and put those on too. So that's
That's
what
my
we'll have the
point.
special for.
Well, and that's exactly what I'm asking for.
But we don't,
I think we have to take it case by case because there were so much issues in the past that if they appear, then you deal with it. That's
can I
just
see,
my
can I see the,
recommendation.
you have the legislation on it in here?
It's gonna be the backup to number 20.
Number 20?
It's gonna be the backup to that.
Number 22?
I just think it's important that we do it in one action or one meeting where we go through all of these. It's one beneficial, I think, to ourselves to really see, to really effectively see to the extent that legislation was held up last year.
I mean, that's, okay.
It was held up like.
That's subject to an investigation. In terms
I'm asking.
of, this is the legal issues and the Department of Labor issue. Let me just say this. If somebody's done work, they have to get paid. And if this
My
gentleman,
understanding is that they are getting paid, so.
no, I'm talking about the law firm. It's just legislation to make sure it's effective. So it's not an issue if they're already getting paid. What's the issue? So I don't want to fight with you, Madam President. I'm just giving you.
It's a request that we, knowing that this is not the only example, knowing that it's over a year old, I know it's not the only example like this, I would simply request that we hold it and do it together as a special Board of Estimate.
Then that means we're gonna have to hold, all of the lawyers involved.
No, let me just,
And every single, we have to then do it all for everyone. So if there's lawyers that have not had their retainers signed, then we're gonna do this, and we're
Okay.
gonna do the same thing to every
This was
firm,
done-
so it's not just this one.
this was already done and
Right.
approved. This is the same legislation that you abstained from as a council person on the body. So,
Understood.
right, so it seemed like you have an issue with this anyway. So
No,
it has
I'm not-
four,
it's not
hold on, let me just say, it is specific because,
Because
hold
my-
on,
my concern is
Madam
saying
President,
that
let me finish,
23.
let me finish. This is the same title coming from here that's on the Board of Estimate and Contract. So nothing has changed at all. So, and I see that, I see that it was already amended on the floor on January 27, 2018 as well, and written
I
in,
think that
hold
was
on,
July.
and it was, no, it's, okay, maybe July, but it was handwritten in, I remember, as per your request to make sure that it's specific to Memorial Field. So this legislation is
Mayor-
as that.
Yeah, Mayor Wallace, so for my request, and it's not the will of the body to hold this item, is that correct?
Right, but we're not gonna hold it because you have to vote the will of the body. And the will of the body, as a councilman, I was sitting there as well. So we know what the issue is. So we're gonna take a roll call, and you can go against the council if you choose to.
Well, that's making a number of assumptions.
No, but I'm just
But
saying,
you
you
voted
had,
it in.
you had a
It's on the
problem,
record
you had a
that I
problem.
Understood,
You were
understood. I
the
made a
one against
request.
it before and
No,
you.
no. Please hear me. I made a request that we hold this for the purpose of doing this with other legislation that we know exists.
The other
But-
legislation we'll do as it comes. We don't need to hold it to wait for other legislation that we have to look for to put together. This one is
We-
here,
we need
those are
to
here,
review,
let's,
so Corporation Council, we do need to review
okay.
legislation.
Request denied.
Understood?
All right,
That's-
roll call.
That's your vote.
Roll call on item number 20.
That is the body of the will of the council.
I haven't voted yet.
Okay.
Item number 20, Controller Reynolds.
As I stated before, I have to abstain because although I do think this is a good law firm, I was sued by the city council in a TRO stating that I was in concert with former Mayor Thomas, and that was a lie. So I just want to put that on the record. So that's why I'm abstaining. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Council President Duarte.
Aye.
Mayor Wallace.
Aye.
Number
21.
21, authorizing the mayor to enter into a servicing agreement with Sedgwick Plains Management Services. So moved.
Money has to be moved into that.
For the law firm? I think,
The law
okay,
department doesn't.
okay, I know where to get it from.
Is there a second?
Yeah, all the money was spent in that line allocation, so.
Excuse me, we have a motion on the floor. Need a second, please, to carry.
Yeah, oh, I was waiting for her to second.
That's
She
fine.
second.
On the question, I just want to say that money has been spent, so you're going to have to move some money into that
So
in order to cover the cost.
we'll set a schedule. You and I will sit down, we'll go
Okay.
through all of these things, find out what we want to do, and budget
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do. Thank you. On the question? Roll call?
Controller Reynolds.
As I said, I have to abstain until the money is transferred over.
Council President Duarte.
Aye.
Mayor Wallace.
Aye.
It's up here, okay.
Number 22, accepting the resignation of Richard Thomas as mayor, settling all lawsuits and claims against the city of Mount Vernon, city council, and the controller by Mayor Richard Thomas individually in his official capacity, and further directing the controller to make payment to the law firm Buss and Jacobs LLP.
I'd like to respectfully request to hold this because it's our understanding that this was dismissed in court. I understand that this is still an open piece of legislation, but I have not had the opportunity to speak to my council members regarding this.
Okay, I have an opinion that I wrote, if it can be read into the record, and however the city council chooses to handle it, you know, that's fine, because I know you're represented by council, so.
Did you read it into the record?
If you can, I don't know what the.
Whatever.
Okay, it's the, from the body. So this is a letter from Corporation Counsel Lauren Razor to the Board of Estimate and Contract dated August 20th. Dear honorable board members, please be advised that the above mentioned proposed ordinance is hereby rejected pursuant to August 15, 2019 decision by Judge Ecker confirming former Mayor Richard Thomas vacated his position as mayor on July 8, 2019.
Okay, so this don't even need to be there? Is that what we're saying?
No, I can't, no, it shouldn't be there.
Okay, so,
Right, so this should not be on the agenda.
Well, it should have been officially withdrawn, because you have an ordinance that you brought before us that's not withdrawn. Okay, there are other reasons why I wrote that letter. Your lawyer has to talk to you about what the actual judge said about
So
the
was that letter
35,000,
shared-
things like that.
That's the first I'm hearing that letter, and it was dated 2 days ago. So was that shared within the council's attorney?
I don't know, I don't know.
Okay.
it was sent to
So-
what, the clerk?
Who was the council's attorney?
Well,
I believe it went to the
St.
clerk.
Paul.
It was given to the board
Not
on
my
Tuesday,
attorney.
and I will forward it to Mr.
Right, it was here Tuesday,
I
so.
wasn't
Okay, but
aware,
I
I wasn't aware that it was supposed to go to the attorney, but if that's the will of the council.
Well, no, I didn't even get a copy of it. So my point is, this is the first time I'm hearing of it, and goes back to what I was requesting earlier, we can respectfully hold this, because it was our understanding that this shouldn't even be here, because it was dismissed in court. So if I may have some time to review your letter, Corporation Counsel, and discuss it with my council members?
Right, because let me just say this quickly. Part of the issue why it has to be withdrawn, it's not just the resignation issue. It's making payment to the law firm of Buss and Jacobs. And I can't say what issues they may have. So we have to say that because it's not just settling the lawsuit and the withdrawal. It's also saying make payments. I don't know if he's entitled to the payment. I don't know if he'll say,
So, yeah, I'm not even arguing those points or the details of the legislation. I'm simply stating that between when this was adopted and today, that there have been court proceedings that impact this piece of legislation.
correct.
Therefore, I'd like to have time to speak to my council members. I've reached out to them, but a couple are traveling, and I've not had the opportunity to speak with them. So I'm just asking that it be held so
I
that
think-
I have the opportunity to do that.
I
It's
think
up to
it,
the body here.
I think it should be held, I don't even think it should be on here, because I believe that the judge made a decision, so the $35,000 that the council passed and the Board of Estimate and Contract meeting that they had, I believe, all would be null and void. So I don't see this even coming, because this is not possible by what the court order said and what the judge said. So for it to be on here, I think we should just strike it from take it off or hold it or whatever you want to do for it not to return, because what was done with it in the first place was illegal. So there's no reason for it to be here.
Second.
Madam
Okay.
Controller concurs.
What is the will of the body? Are you holding it and striking it?
Striking it. I agree with striking it.
Second.
Shouldn't be there anyway, because the judge already said it was illegal. All right. That's okay with you? Because we're holding it, it's not gonna come back anyway.
You, I think, having the majority anyway, the will is to strike it. Is that?
Yep.
Okay, item number 23, authorizing permission to create a civilian complaint review board.
So this, just to reiterate what I said earlier, this is another example of an item that is
Held.
over a year old. It was adopted by the council on February 28, 2018, and
5-0.
was never placed on the Board of Estimate agenda as far as I can see. And it does state that it shall only take effect upon approval by the Board of Estimate and Contract.
Right.
So again, this is not the only example like this, and this is why, I would like to be able to review legislation, dated legislation like this, and have a special addressing it, because I feel like that is the most transparent way to inform ourselves and the public of how legislation was held.
That's fine. I can concur.
Can I see that again, please? Because that was, this, I know this legislation is
I haven't
before,
received the
before your time.
information, so.
No, it's
I don't
not.
even know
It
what
was-
it consists
We all
of.
voted on it last year. Right, let me just, right? We
No.
all voted on it.
That was a part of the discussion.
Yeah, so it's 5-0. I don't see a reason to hold that one up.
And they started meeting.
Yeah, they started me,
They
it's,
started,
Oh,
that is,
I don't
that,
know anything about it.
okay,
I
let me
was
just,
never,
let me just brief everyone. This is the Civilian Complaint Review Board.
Where's the documentation?
What it is, can I borrow that for her, Madam?
it's just,
So-
I mean, what does it consist of?
It's the Civilian Complaint Review Board put together by civilians to be able to, for other people to come and, if you have some issues between the police department and all, this Civilian
That
Complaint
doesn't
Review
tell me
Board.
anything. How many members, what's going to be
It's
done,
gonna
what are
be
the,
five members. I'll
what
go
are
through
their
it.
bylaws? Yeah, I just don't have
Yeah.
anything.
Okay.
I'll go through
I
it.
just.
All right. So, roll
Yeah,
call.
I don't have a problem voting it. That's not why I'm saying this. So I just want to make clear what my request is.
Okay,
Look
to
at
review,
the
to
legislation.
review it and get the
Yeah.
legislation. You should-
So if it's the will to move it, that's.
Yeah,
that's
and I'll
fine.
go-
And I didn't know that they were already needed.
I'll go over it with you if you want to give you the whole write-up, the all of the bylaws, the whole shebang. We should have it in
Well, I think-
the clerk's office, and we
well,
can
we're in the
review it.
process of
Yeah.
putting that together.
Yeah, because it's already
But for
all,
voting members, you have to have documentation.
Yeah,
You
this-
just can't,
this documentation was given quite
I've
some
never
time ago.
received it.
It was,
Okay.
part of
And
the
the
city
controller
council.
is a voting member. I should have all documentation. I'm not receiving anything.
Okay, hold on.
Well, this particular.
Hopefully that'll change.
this
Hopefully that will
particular-
change.
The
Yeah.
information for this item was a part of the city council's referral packet. So. I
From
know that-
February.
From February of 2018. Yes, so all the bylaws.
Where's the discussions?
Yeah.
Well, it was discussed in the committee meeting with
Where's
the
the,
city council.
no one invited the controller there. So where's the discussions? I'm a voting member. I should know about what's going on in our city.
Madam Comptroller, our committee meetings are open to the public and regularly
You didn't invite
scheduled.
me. What do you mean it's open? Of course it's open. But you
Well-
have to invite the comptroller when you have something that is like this. What do you want to say? Okay, you know what, she'll come if she knows. I don't know what's on you, what you're planning to do on your agendas. I'm not part of the city council. I'm a former council person. Right now, I'm the comptroller. And you want me to vote on certain aspects of your, things are on the agenda, but no one's giving me documentation to look at. No one's stating anything. And let me invite you to the meeting so that you can be a part of this, so you will understand what's going on, what we're attempting to do. But that has not happened.
I'll come downstairs, sit with you. I'll
Okay,
get
but
the-
you
the
understand
document.
what I'm
Yes,
gonna
I got
say.
it. I got it. I'll brief on everything with that as Madam Controller. Yeah.
Madam Controller, can I ask a question about the referral packets?
No,
Elijah.
thank you. Well, no, thank you.
Okay. Roll call.
Roll call on,
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
no, you're right.
Okay, so you,
It has
you
to be
read,
moved in.
you read item 23. Do you want to read it again?
I'll read it again. Item number 23.
Are we holding it? Are
No,
we
we're gonna
voting?
move-
What
we're
are we
gonna move on
doing?
it. We're voting on it.
Well, no, there was no movement and no second on it.
That's
She's
fine.
gonna read it now.
Okay.
Authorizing permission to create a civilian complaint review board.
So moved.
I'm not gonna second it with no information. This is no judge, just said a conversation.
Second.
There's no information.
I'll bring it down to you. We'll go over it.
Okay.
Second. On the question, you want to put anything? And on roll call.
Controller Reynolds,
I have to abstain. I have received no information today.
Council President Duarte,
Aye.
Mayor Wallace.
Aye. And I'll bring everything down
Okay.
today. We'll sit down and go through everything.
Item number 24, under salaries, Department of Planning and Community Development Commissioner.
Okay, under the salaries for the resolution, before we even go there, Ms. Gears and Madam Controller, Where are we on the salary resolutions?
I returned to the comptroller's office. I returned all of the resolutions to the comptroller.
Madam Controller?
We recently received them, but they were some errors I advised.
Okay. So,
And
The salary
until they
resol-
are
right, the salary
corrected and
resolution.
they're able to be reviewed again, they would have to come on maybe the next agenda.
well, the next agenda, when's the next board BOE meeting?
The next BOE meeting is, I believe, September 17th or 18th.
It's almost a month. Do we
Right.
want to have a special that we can put all of these
Just
things
the
on?
salaries.
Well, like
Yeah,
I
because
said,
the
once-
salaries- yeah.
Once they come down
When-
and we're able to
okay.
review them, I'll let you know when we're done.
Okay, so we'll try to get these things together so that we can move this salary resolution forward, so that people can, we can correct everybody's
I
salary.
tried to do that in the beginning of the year, it didn't happen.
All right, well, I could work with you, so I figured we could make it happen.
Yeah, well, it has
All
to.
right, so we'll make it happen. I'll come and sit with you, we'll make it happen, sit with everybody, we'll make it happen. Okay, so we're gonna hold, let's just hold those for now, because I wanna get all of the salary resolutions, and maybe we should have like a good sit-down with everybody, because we gotta get this done. People are still waiting for their raises and waiting for their money.
I sit
So,
down with everyone like who?
Me, you, and maybe Brenda Gayers, so we can get it done.
Oh, yeah, she just has to
Yeah.
correct the errors.
All right, so we
That's
just get
fine.
it done. All right, thank you.
Okay,
Let's move on to
so for the
settlement.
record, item numbers 24 and 25 are being held. Number 26, under settlements, settling the claim of Optham Management LLC in the amount of $10,000.
I would-
I don't have any information.
Yeah, I
on
was
this.
going to say Corporation Council, have you had a
Right.
chance to?
Everybody's new, let's hold that. So this way, corporate counsel and the legal department can review some of these things.
Oh, that's yours, sorry.
We-
Okay, 26 is held. Number 27, settling the claim of Omar Medina in the amount of $1,800.56.
Corporate counsel?
I haven't received it unfortunately till this morning. I don't know what the case is about. I don't know. And that's unfortunate.
So we wanna
Can
hold
we
that?
Hold that, please.
Yes, ma'am. You all right with that?
Yes.
You okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna hold that, those two as well. 26, 27.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
under
We're gonna vote or something? Or just hold?
Deputy City Clerk, I just want to ask you, for the tax review settlements, I've already spoken to the city assessor. We see that there was funding in place. We checked. Can we read 28 to 32 so we can put them all together, get them covered?
We're gonna.
Okay, if that's
we're
the
gonna-
will of the
we're
body,
holding them
we'll-
or
No,
pass?
yeah,
We're good?
there's funding.
Everything's ready?
There's funding.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, it's been requested by
That's
the
good news.
controller to take 28 through 32 as one item. If that's
Yep.
the pleasure of the body.
I have no
Alright.
problem with it. You okay with that?
That's fine.
Okay.
All of these, so I mean, based on the documentation, they've all been reviewed by the tax assessor, the comptroller just represented, there's funding there, and I don't know if the corporation council has had an opportunity to review them.
Not every single one of them, but if I signed off on them at the top, then I've reviewed them.
And I had the opportunity to review them as well.
Okay.
Thank you. That's how teamwork works.
Okay.
That's how we get things done. Talking to each other. All right, beautiful.
Okay, under tax review settlements, item number 28, settling tax review proceedings, AT&T Communications of New York, Inc., 112 West First Street, in the amount of $83,581.79. Item number 29, settling tax review proceedings, 4601 White Plains Road Corp., 526 North High Street, $861.91. Number 30, settling tax review proceedings, Macbeth Realty Corp., 4 North McQuestion Parkway, $3,552. Number 31, settling tax review proceedings, 30 South 6th Avenue Corp., 30 South 6th Avenue, the amount of $10,576.51. And item number 32, settling tax review proceedings, 417 South 5th Avenue LLC, 417 South 5th Avenue, $15,381.70.
So moved.
Second?
On the question? I got a quick question. It's 417, Stephanie, just, it's not for anything else but for the record. Is that the, oh, no, not for, sorry. Roll call.
Roll call on items number 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. Controller Reynolds.
Aye.
Council President Duarte.
Aye.
Mayor Wallace.
Aye.
Item number 33, under setting the rates for the law firm of Wilson and Chin LLP, special counsel for civil litigation matters for the city of Mount Vernon.
So, if I may respectfully request that we hold this at this time and request that the mayor and corporation council, if you can meet with the city council and debrief us on what the needs of the department are, and this is really, I don't want to repeat the same actions of the previous administration. We had the council president on multiple occasions had asked for information on these legal proceedings, not that we need, to the extent that it can be shared with the council. So I just, as a professional courtesy, if we can hold this item until we meet and debrief the council.
Here's the thing, I just want to make sure the changes were made, he's not 450, I just want to make that quick.
I
Change it
think
from
we're-
450 to 350, I don't know how you do it by amendment either, but
No, it's different.
I know what you're saying also, but he just said it. Let me just say this. Because of the level of issues regarding within the department, regarding law department, regarding issues of conflict, outside, the need for outside counsel is there. It's not a question of who they are, there's a need for outside counsel. I have requested other lawyers to deal with certain issues that I can't deal with, not because of any cases I've had. There are conflicts of former employees doing certain things, and we need outside counsel. So part of it is, and we know this firm, it's a firm that has done great work for the city council and for those involved. So, and they're on board with what's happening with the law department and what's happening in the city. So I only ask for them, but they're not the only firm that I'm gonna bring before there. I'm gonna bring a couple other lawyers that can also be outside counsel, hopefully if it's approved. So that's just my spin on it. We have a lot of issues
Right.
in the law department that require an outside counsel firm.
And so, I have to talk on the issue of money again,
No, well, I
because,
know we talked about this morning.
yes, there's no funding source available to remit payment to these individuals with this law firm right now. So, like I said again, all of it has to be rectified. There's going to have to be some sitting down, some moving money within the 2019 budget, and especially so our taxpayers don't have to bear a burden of anything like they have in the past. So, until there's funding in these places, we can't move on anything, it's still a steal. So,
Again, I believe that Mayor Wallace, you have every intention of not doing things the same as before and not repeating the same actions of the previous administration. And so the reason why I respectfully request to hold this and to debrief the council, it's not just so that we understand what the needs of the department are, because we get it that there is going to be situations where you need outside counsel. But in particular, this law firm does have a relationship with Mayor Wallace.
And you're in the council.
yes, because the council,
His relationship
they
goes
previously
back
worked with
further.
the council as
Right,
well.
I
I'm not
understand. I'm
Okay.
not here to argue.
No, I'm just
simply
saying, but you knew
asking-
that before, and he represented council.
I'm asking for professional courtesy that this be held at this moment, so
Okay.
to give us an opportunity to sit down and understand why this particular firm is the firm that you feel can address the needs that you have right now.
I mean, that's up to the body, though. I can only give you my opinion.
Just hold it so that they
Okay.
can, or she
That's
can
fine.
review whatever she needs to
Oh, no,
review.
I'm
That
inviting yourself and corporation council to meet with the city council, with all of the members.
Okay, I'm fine with that as well.
That's what
Let's
I'm
just,
asking.
and then you can, Madam President, set up the meeting and we can discuss it, corporate counsel can discuss it, and
given
everybody
one
can
of the,
discuss it.
of the many numerous issues that require outside counsel. And
Right.
again, they're among the firms that we're looking
Understood.
at, okay?
Okay, so we'll
And then
hold, we'll just,
obviously, budgetary needs would be discussed,
Oh,
so
that,
that we could
I
have.
discussed that this morning, what the issues are going to be.
Okay,
okay, so we'll hold it for now.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
I
No
appreciate
problem.
And then
that.
you can have
Thank you.
discussion, because we have to have a special later anyway. Okay,
Item number 33 has been held. Okay, finally, item number 34, under resolutions approving ordinances, authorizing the MVURA to enter into a payment plan, to enter into the payment plan agreement with the New York State Department of Civil Service.
So moved.
okay. I'm gonna request that we hold that one also. So I can get some clarity. You know anything about it? You
Well,
don't?
you don't want to hear about this.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
But you held it, which is a good thing.
Okay, so
Have we
we'll,
held it? I'm sorry.
yeah, we're gonna hold it for now because I need more clarity on it myself. And I know the comptroller needs full clarity on it as well. So I would like
Okay,
to
so I just,
discuss it.
if I may, my understanding is that it's very time sensitive. So, if we can expedite whatever review we need to have so that we can settle whatever questions
Yep.
and understanding that needs to.
This is regarding your health insurance and who pays for the health insurance.
But
That's
they
within
already
your
know
body.
that. They already know
That's
that.
within their body.
That's been in
Who has to
previous
pay the health
litigation, is
insurance.
why I'm not getting involved.
I'm sorry?
And that's what I'm saying for the record.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
There was
it.
previous litigation about it. I don't know where that litigation ended up. I don't know.
And those are the things that I believe we need to kind of figure out and see what's going on. But what we can do is we can have a special for that too, when we have a special for everything else.
After you are
Yep, and we'll discuss it at the URA
not the
after.
Board of Estimate.
All right, so we'll hold that one. Table is just for now.
Item number 34 is held.
Okay, that completes it. Unless there's anything anyone else had to say, I'll entertain. I didn't even get to that part. Okay. I entertain it.
She's the mayor now.
You,
I moved to adjourn.
You say it.
we move to adjourn and
Second?
I asked for entertain. Second.
I thought that's what you were saying. that you
Yes, no,
entertain
no, that's what I said, I
adjournment. Okay.
entertained.
I'm sorry if I jumped the gun.
Second. From Comptroller Reynolds. All right, roll call.
Okay, roll
To
call.
adjourn?
Adjournment, Controller Reynolds.
Yes?
Council President Duarte.
Aye.
Mayor Wallace.
Yes. This meeting is now adjourned.
Have a good day. When you get a chance, let me just see what I have right now, but when you get a chance, I mean, it's definite, because we have to get this done, okay?
Okay, I'll come down and see you. Plus, I got, bring all those.